Welcome to this explainer. Let's jump right in, shall we? Today, we're looking at the anatomy of luck, skill versus sheer chance. We're going to take a warm, cinematic journey to uncover the history and philosophy behind a very famous idiom, and along the way, we'll dissect luck, opportunity, and, well, human nature itself. So, I want to start by asking you a question. Is success born from consistent skill, or is it just sheer luck? I mean, philosophers and farmers alike have literally debated this for centuries. When you achieve something great, did you meticulously plan every step, or did the universe just decide to drop an acorn perfectly at your feet? Are we really earning our victories, or are we all just wandering blindly through a forest of chance? Which brings us to this classic phrase: even a blind squirrel can find a nut occasionally. It basically means that even someone who is generally inept or unlucky can sometimes succeed purely by chance. And honestly, this old saying has elements of truth in it, doesn't it? It's a great way to gently poke fun at someone for just stumbling across an answer or having a sudden success. But it also has a much deeper meaning. It tells us that sometimes you have to actively look so you don't just stumble across an answer by accident. Having a clear presence of mind will often reveal answers to you rather than just leaving your fate to chance. To ground our exploration today, we're going to look at a personal story from the author of our source material, who we'll just call Papa, and his late father, affectionately known as Papa Q Bear. Now, Papa Q Bear absolutely loved this phrase. He was notorious for deploying it with this great wry smile whenever a young papa finally stumbled onto an answer that had been eluding him for hours. Sure, it was said in jest, but it actually carried a ton of philosophical weight. Here is the absolute core of Papa Q Bear's gentle teasing. He'd tell him, the answers you seek are usually right in front of you. Be more aware of your surroundings, open your eyes, and trust your instincts. It's such a profound realization when you think about it. You literally shouldn't have to leave your success up to sheer chance. If you just actively observe your environment, the answers make themselves known. But where did this whole rustic philosophy actually come from? Let's trace the evolution of accidental success. Interestingly, this idiom didn't even start with squirrels. Back in 1880, newspapers like the Reno Evening Gazette were writing about a blind pig rinding an acorn. By 1889, the Journal of American Folklore noted it as a staple Appalachian saying, even a blind hog finds an acorn. You see it pop up again with a blind hog in a Chicago daily paper in 1893. Actually, it wasn't until 1951, in a Washington Post sports column, that we really see the mainstream shift toward the blind squirrel that we all reference today. What's really fascinating here is how different global cultures adapted the exact same concept using their own local farm animals. Like we just saw, in the southern and Appalachian US, you've got the blind hog or pig finding an acorn. But if you jump over to Europe, places like Sweden, Germany, or Denmark, the proverb translates to a blind hen or chicken finding a grain. And then, of course, the modern United States uses the blind squirrel finding a nut. The animal changes based on the local agriculture, but the human truth remains totally constant across continents. So we have a simple farming observation transformed into a profound metaphor for human nature. Think about it. What started as the everyday sight of free-range hogs rooting in oak woods became this powerful reminder to not draw sweeping conclusions from isolated outcomes. In our world today, where a single viral post or a lucky crypto bet can make someone look like an absolute genius overnight, this rural wisdom kind of grounds us. It reminds us that an underdog winning once doesn't magically rewrite the laws of the universe. And here we see the tension that we all have to balance in our daily lives. On one hand, you have stumbling by chance, relying on isolated, accidental success through blind persistence. On the other hand, you have seeking with presence, trusting your instincts and observing the environment to reveal answers. Blind persistence, like the squirrel or the hog, might eventually get you a meal, but man, it is incredibly inefficient. Papa Q Bear's philosophy of seeking with presence eliminates the need for all that sheer luck. Let's synthesize all of this. First, random success is a universal human experience. It happens to all of us. But a single victory absolutely does not prove steady ability or mastery. Consistency and preparation matters so much more than a lucky coincidence. Having that clear presence of mind reveals answers that are just hiding in plain sight. We really have to trust our instincts rather than leaving life to chance. Basically, consistent competence is going to outshine a random guess every single time. As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to reflect on your own life. Are you leaving your success up to a wandering chance, or are you intentionally looking? Are you just waiting for a lucky break to fall right into your lap? Or are you actively, intentionally surveying your environment to spot the opportunities that are already sitting right there? Ultimately, we need to take Papa Q Bear's deeply resonant advice to heart. Open your eyes. What life-changing answers are waiting right in front of you, just begging for you to finally stop relying on luck, stop acting like the blind squirrel, and simply open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep those eyes open, and I'll see you next time.